Welcome to Bleav in 76ers with your hosts, former 76ers point guard Eric Snow and two Sixers fanatics in Marcus and Teja Dash. Bleav in 76ers is presented by betonline.ag.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is that time of the year. It's football season, and you know what that means? It means it's time to get in on BetOnline. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games. Think you know your stuff? Get in on our $200,000 mega contest and pick 5 games against the spread every week for your chance at weekly prizes and a share of $200,000. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our 150 slot games. Head to the website today and get in on the action. BetOnline. The game starts here. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Bleav in 76ers podcast. I'm Marcus Dash here with legendary 76ers point guard Eric Snow and my brother Teja Dash. Guys, we have Sixers basketball now, so now we're going into our second game tonight. We'll finally get to see the Sixers, the 2024 version, rated PG this time though, with PG playing tonight. But yeah, we'll obviously get into what we saw against the New Zealand Breakers. What did you guys make of just kind of seeing the some of the new parts against the New Zealand team the other night?
I mean, kind of hard to tell. I mean, with the Breakers, I mean, it's a little different style team, and it wasn't really a good game for me to judge it, honestly. I mean, I'm kind of looking forward to playing more of a NBA team, even though you know the guys aren't going to play as many minutes, but you still kind of see the structure. You still kind of see the game plan of what they're trying to do. And now to give us more kind of a feel for how they approach the start of the season.
Yeah, you know it's hard to gauge when literally like everyone on the team just killed it. We shot like 58% from the field. I mean, down 3 for 5. Jackson 5 of 7. Bona didn't miss. Lowry didn't miss. Martin 3 for 5. Yabusele didn't miss. So it was just like an onslaught. So it is hard to gauge, but still take positives away. Yabusele 6 of 6, 15 points. It's nice to see 1 rebound, but whatever. I'm not going to nitpick at this point. Yeah. Nitpicking starts tonight.
Yeah, nitpicking and pocket counting starts tonight for Tej.
Yeah, but yeah, well, you know, official pocket counting 2 weeks from now, but
yeah,
couple change.
Yeah, obviously everyone played well, but I will say for some Sixers fans, if someone didn't play well on that game against New Zealand, that would be like top news. Oh man, you know, so and so looked awful against this the team of unknowns, and yeah, that'd be breaking news for a lot of these Sixers fans. But nonetheless, everyone looked good. But yeah, so with our first topic, I wanted to pick out 2 guys who looked pretty exceptional on against the New Zealand Breakers on Monday. And although there were a few notable items, most people are talking about Jared McCain, who a lot of people were scared about his up and down performances during Summer League, but in this game against the New Zealand Breakers, comes out 4 for 9 from 3. Drummond, who we've seen been taking a lot of threes during practice and during training camp, he comes out and knocks down a 3. So obviously, against New Zealand Breakers, so that context matters here. But which one of those two could have a bigger impact this season? Drummond adding threes to his bag, or McCain's sharpshooting off the bench?
I don't think either is going to be a mainstay. I think Drummond will, obviously with the minutes that he plays, I think he'll hit the occasional 3. I don't think he's going to be shooting threes, and I think he's going to turn to Brook Lopez this season. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he could probably develop into that if they put the time, but, you know, I don't think he's going to be out there like Brook Lopez. McCain, I can't see him getting the consistent opportunities. Not from him not being able to do it. I just don't see where those consistent opportunities are going to come from. Especially early on. He may play a little bit, but I just don't think that they'll give him the opportunity to bring that firepower off the bench consistently. He may have a shot, to try to earn those minutes, sure, throughout the season. Maybe after the first few games, they'll, kind of give him a chance. But with the guys they have and being more of a smaller perimeter team, I just find it tough for him to consistently get minutes.
Yeah. I mean, which one could have a bigger impact? If Drummond's 3-point shooting is like legit, and that's not just a preseason like fun, that would be my pick because he's going to play more impactful minutes on this team. So therefore, anything he adds to his game would just be a bigger bonus for us. I think between the two, which one has a more realistic chance of being helpful to us? McCain, because I think in the end he'll have more attempts, even in his limited play from 3, because McCain's going to go out there and let it fly. That's what he's going to do. That's when he knows his job, what it's going to be. So, I mean, by all accounts, he looks like a nice young future piece, but caught up in an extremely deep guard set, right? And we got Maxey, Gordon, Lowry, Jackson. Some of those guys aren't going to play a lot of nights. Well, we know which ones, but obviously not Maxey. But some of those guys are not going to have nights where they don't even play. So, McCain's going to be left on the shuffle. I mean, like, if you look at people starting 5, you got Oubre at 2. So, like, all those guys I named aren't even the starter besides Maxey. So he's going to have to prove himself and earn PT. And I think he'll do that by knocking down shots. But let me ask you. So I looked at Drummond's career log here. I was actually surprised by some of this. His career high in 3-point attempts, 38 in the season, which surprised the hell out of me. This is when he was like Detroit's a guy, and this is like his second to last year before he left, so he didn't give a crap anymore. He just let him fly, I guess, at this point. He shot 38 that year. He had 5 of 38, so 13%. Do you think he attempts more or less than that
this year?
Yeah, so that's 1 every 2 games, pretty much.
I'll say more.
Say more? Okay. Yeah. I mean, he shot 2. He made 1, but he shot 2 the other day. So I'm going to say more too. Yeah, he only shot 3 last year.
Yeah, I say he shoots more.
Yeah.
I just think that the way I envision them playing, they're not going to use him as a post threat. He's going to take some opportunities. I think he'll take more opportunities, but it also depends on how those first 10 to 20 shots go.
Yep. If he's still shooting 13%, I don't think he's going to make it to 38.
Yeah.
On those first 10 to 15. So, yeah, we'll see.
Hey, if he plays like Brook Lopez, I'd love that. I think most Sixers fans would love that if he's gets that adds that shot in his bag.
I think even if he's like a 25%, he'll be happy.
See, Brook Lopez was always a guy that could shoot it and score it. He just didn't shoot threes. Mm-hmm. But we never really knew if he could. You know what I'm saying? Because he just didn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
On the McCain thing, Tony Jones of the Athletic wrote, I still don't expect McCain to be in the rotation on the opening night when the Sixers face the Bucks. Maxey and George figure to be the starting backcourt. Veterans Kyle Lowry and Eric Gordon should be the first guards off the bench. But in this collective bargaining agreement era, threading a roster between the present and future is essential, and McCain is clearly setting himself up as Maxey's potential future running mate in the backcourt. What do you guys think about that?
I think that's an accurate statement. I don't know if the window is as small as he's, probably making it. Because they didn't go get Eric Jordan and Reggie Jackson for those guys to be reserves behind McCain. Yeah. Not initially. That's what I'm saying. Like, they have to perform, obviously, to maintain those spots in the rotation. But I believe that they brought them there for a reason. And that's to kind of fill those roles. And you have the young guy that's ready to, jump on the opportunity if it comes. That's why I said that he'll get an opportunity. It will come. And how he performs will determine whether he stays in that spot. But he'll have to perform at a high level to maintain it. I mean, he'll also has to perform at a high level defensively. If he becomes a liability defensively, then he don't have a shot. So it's different aspects. A 3-point shooting can be great and it can be definitely helpful, but the other parts of his game is going to have to be there as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's why I said nice future piece. I just don't think we have just too many veteran ball handlers, scorers. We have all kinds of guards. If he was a bigger guard, I'd say he possibly would get more playing time, find his way playing more, but he's not. So it's like he doesn't have much of an advantage over those guys unless he just comes out and shoots like 45, 50% from three. Then it's like, man, we just can't keep him off the floor at this point. But he's got to prove that first before we get that. Going back to what you said a second ago, Eric, Brook Lopez did not attempt 10 or more three-pointers in a season until his 7th year.
Yeah.
7th.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that's when we didn't. People just assume because people don't shoot them that they can't shoot them. Like guys didn't practice them. It wasn't an emphasis. Then all of a sudden it became an emphasis, and you see the transition that he made. That's not for everybody. Brook Lopez is special like that.
Oh,
his brother doesn't even do it.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So
his brother's got like a little jump hook, and that's all I see.
I'm just saying, but it tells you that is different. Like, but Brook Lopez could always score the ball, and he could shoot the ball from mid range. He always had a nice shot. He just all of a sudden his game just changed. He went to primary 3-point shooter that can get on the block and score, but that's what they turned him into, and he's had success with it. I believe he's extended his career because of that.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, he's playing for, big man. He's playing a long time. So 7th year, he shot 1 of 10. Year 8, he shot 2 of 14, right? Year 9 is when he gets into being a 3-point shooter. He shot like 382, from 14 to 380 in a year, 387. And he hasn't shot, he's only shot below 34% from 3 twice since then. So like, he's done it, and he's just been consistent at it for the rest of his career. That's so impressive. That's
why I said, what Brook Lopez is doing it's different. Because a lot of those guys can't transition into that. Like you taking those shots, and that's why I said you get to missing a few, then what happens?
Yeah, man.
When he made that jump in 3-point attempts, Teja, was that when he's with Milwaukee, or he's still with Brooklyn or LA?
He was with Brooklyn at that point. So
okay.
Yeah, he had 2 years. He had 2 years with Brooklyn where he only attempted 1, and then he shot 10, and then he shot 14. His last year in Brooklyn, he shot up to 387, and then LA, and then from there on out, his next biggest jump though was his first year in Milwaukee. He shot 512.
Okay.
That was when it was like, okay, like he's not just taking them now, like he's a 3-point shooter now. When you get to the 500 mark, that's
you got the green light.
Yeah, that's like not even before. When he was with Brooklyn, it was like a third of his shots, right? With Milwaukee that next year, it was like 80% of his shots. So like he became like just a 3-point shooter at that point. Yeah. Good for him. Yeah, man. Yeah. Drummond probably sees that and he's like, man, if I can make like 25, 28%, I can maybe just extend my career. But difference between Drummond and Brook is Drummond's just an ridiculously good rebounder, right? That was never Brook's forte anyway. So Brook was a big man that couldn't rebound that well, who wasn't shooting threes. So he was like, I gotta do one of these things. So he's like, I'll just shoot threes. All
right, so now we're going to get to something that happens every year, an annual tradition, the GM survey or the GM poll. So I parsed through it. We picked out some of the Sixer-related results that kind of surprised me the most, and I want to get your guys' reactions, see which ones surprised you the most. So we're going to get full screen here. Okay, so pretty much my question to you guys is, which Sixers-related result surprised you the most? I'm going to go through them here. So 50% of the votes call Sixers the second best team in the East. Embiid finished tied for third on who will win MVP He was tied with Tatum and Jokic behind SGA and Luka at 1 and 2. Another one was which NBA player, quote, forces opposing coaches to make the most adjustments. Embiid was tied for 4th with Giannis behind Curry, Luka, and Jokic. Embiid received 10% of votes as the best center in the NBA. Jokic received 87% of those votes. Sixers signing of Paul George will be the most impactful acquisition from the offseason. That was voted number 1. The Sixers ranked 2nd in having the best offseason behind OKC. Sixers ranked 3rd as the team that will improve the most in 24-25 season behind Memphis and San Antonio. George to the Sixers was voted as the 2nd most surprising move of the offseason behind Bridges to the Knicks. Sixers head coach Nick Nurse was tied for 4th when GMs were asked which head coach makes the best in-game adjustments. Maxey finished 3rd place in voting for the fastest player with the ball in the NBA behind Ja and De'Aaron Fox. And lastly, Sixers tied for 5th place when voters were asked which team's level of success in 24-25 would be the most difficult to predict. Guys,
we were number 1 in that one last year, by the way, just
oh, interesting. Wow, that
for
makes sense.
context. We were number 1 by a lot, I think, last year.
The last one you said we were number 1?
Yeah, because we had the whole Harden thing looming over us, remember? So they didn't know what was going to happen with us last year.
So which of the results kind of stand out to you guys?
The MVP don't. I mean, that's not a shocker. I mean, they picked the 2 younger guys that are built to put up numbers, and if their team have success, they'll always be in the hunt. And they haven't won, so that kind of always helps guys.
Mm-hmm.
Always helps guys. Jokic getting 87% of the votes and Joel getting 10.
Wemby was 3%.
Who was?
Wemby was the other 3%.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's not better than those guys right now. Sixers ranked 2nd in having the best offseason behind OKC. That surprises me. I mean,
yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'm not as high on OKC's offseason as everybody else. I'm really not.
Caruso and Hartenstein, right?
I'm not high. I'm not high on that offseason. I think that. Do I think they help? Yeah, but do I think that they accelerated their team? No. At all. I would say the Knicks offseason is better than theirs.
Yeah, I'd agree. I agree with that.
I mean, I would say Sacramento. A lot of people I was put over them. Sacramento, the Spurs.
Yeah, I think they're kind of. Judging their overall roster in that question, like they have a great roster. OKC's loaded.
Yeah,
right?
but I'm saying it. But when you say the best offseason, you talking about the moves that were made during the offseason.
Yes, exactly.
And I don't. That's what I'm saying. I'm not high on the moves that they made. Like Hartenstein was a reserve for majority of the season.
Yep.
Like, come on now. Like, okay, let's. Maybe that's just me. Like
they got a rebound. They got a rebounding big and another defensive guard.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's what I'm saying. Are they saying that because they think those are fits for that team? I think the Mavericks had a better summer than them.
Yeah.
Summer anymore. Mavericks.
Yeah, they're acting like a lot of these talking heads and NBA analysts are acting like Hartenstein's like this all-star center they brought over. And it's like, hey, he's a solid center, but I mean, he's not this. The way they're talking about him is just like what? Because I don't get it.
Yeah. I mean, they did have a good summer. Quinn Grimes, Najee Marshall, Klay Thompson. I mean, yeah, you can make an argument that that's a better upgrade to their roster.
Playing with Luka.
I guess you also had to take in consideration. They lost some stuff too, though, right? They lost Derek Jones. They lost Josh Green. Who did OKC lose in all that stuff? Did they lose anybody?
They lost a starter that was a double figure starter.
Giddy.
Oh, that's right. I totally forgot, man. Giddy. Wow. Okay. Totally forgot. So yeah, I mean, yeah. If you, I mean, I know people dog Giddy's shooting, but Giddy
He was a starter. He's a 3-year starter. He's a
he
starter.
contributed a lot on a winning team. Yeah, no, for sure.
I'm just saying he's a starter on the team that had the number 1 seed in the West. He was a starter. So you tell him you take a starter out and the team don't lose anything?
Yeah, no, you're right. Let's see. Yeah, that's a good call. I wouldn't have necessarily thought of them. Let's see who else had a good. There are a couple other teams that had good off seasons though.
Sacramento
and the Spurs. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's why they said the Spurs were number 2 on improved the most, which is interesting because like those two are kind of similar, but yeah, who do they?
Man, I think Phoenix getting whatchamacallit was a huge move because they didn't really have a starting point guard. Tyus Jones. That's a huge move.
That's
yes,
a big move, yeah.
You're right about that. Yeah.
So I'm just gonna say I'm just surprised that like okay, see, maybe it was a loud move, but I don't see it as that. Okay, but anyway, with us,
I think we should have been number 1 on that list. I mean,
I think if you're talking about because for them, like you're saying Caruso was a trade. So you're telling me that OKC signing Hartenstein is a bigger offseason than Paul George?
Even if you're going to include trades, departures, Giddey, additions, Caruso and Hartenstein, departures, Batum, Bamba, Hield, D'Anthony Melton, Cameron Payne, Paul Reed, additions, Drummond, George, Eric Gordon, Reggie Jackson, Caleb Martin.
It's not even close.
I mean, dude, come on. That's ridiculous.
It's not even close. That's what I'm talking about. We're talking about off seasons. We're not talking about the team that's already there. So I think they got them confused with which team kind of looks the best based on their
roster, maybe.
Best roster based on your off-season moves. That's a different question than who had the best off-season.
Yeah. I agree with that. Yeah, I think we should. That was mine. I had marked. I think we should have been number 1 on that one. But it doesn't surprise me that teams.
I would say
Caruso, but
I would say to be honest with you, I would probably say the Sixers getting 50% of the votes of being the second best team. I think that's high. I wouldn't have expected it to be that high.
Yeah, that was an interesting.
That's the one that if I had to be like, oh, I'm shocked by, that's the one I'm most shocked by. Because if you look at the moves that the Knicks have made and they beat us in the playoffs, you look at what Milwaukee is, 50% is a lot.
That's an interesting one too. I looked into that one as well. So we had the most second place votes, but when you weigh in all the third, fourth votes, New York in the end ranks higher than us, but we got the most second place votes.
Got it.
Which is still, you're right. I was still surprised to see that. I thought New York would have.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying 50%. It's not like you're choosing only between 2 teams. Like you're choosing between all of the teams in the East.
Yeah.
So that I think the Joker getting 87% over Joel, I think that's a
little high.
That's high, and I think that has something to do with how the season ended. Because before then, Joel was leading the league in scoring, and he was on his way to a back-to-back MVPs before the injury. So I guarantee you, GMs feel like that. I can guarantee you, if you poll the players, that number would change drastically.
Big time.
Milwaukee was 5th on that list, by the way. The East list, 5th.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Who's ahead of them?
Cleveland actually had to tie for the third. We tied them for third votes for the third place, 20 and 20%.
Stop it.
Wow.
Milwaukee, everybody said Milwaukee had a down year last year. They were what? Second seed?
Yeah, I know.
On the supposed down year? Like, come on, man. Like, what are we talking about here?
I also think the improvement one's pretty close too, because technically, what were we, a 7 seed? Right? 6 seed?
Yeah.
What were we in the end?
7 seed.
7 seed. So I mean, if we got the most votes to be number 2, 7-2 is a pretty big jump. So
that's the point I'm trying to say. So if you're saying that we're the second best team and all that, then we got to be having the best offseason.
Yeah.
So how can you go from 7 and be the second best team in the East, but not be having the best offseason?
Yeah.
That's true.
So some of this stuff kind of contradicts himself.
Mm-hmm.
And they gave Paul George the most impactful offseason acquisition.
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
so.
Like, that don't make none of that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I also think George should have been the number 1 surprising move, because everyone thought at the end of the day he was going to work it out with the Clippers. Everyone knew that if Bridges was going to go somewhere, they said he was going to go to New York.
That was kind of a surprise, though, man. I don't think a lot of people, no one thought that Bridges was going to be traded to the Knicks this offseason. The Paul George rumors were going on all year, whether it was going to happen or not. We actually heard those rumors. We never really heard that Bridges was going to go to the New York Knicks. That was always like drummed up by the
True, but everyone was laughing at us for thinking we even had a shot at George.
Yeah, but there were rumors, though. There was no rumors of Bridges going to New York.
Yeah, because he was going to be a free agent. He was an impending free agent. That's why.
Yeah.
Bridges, there were trade rumors with Bridges, but it never got very far.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because he called his team and was like, I want New York or bust. And like, okay, we'll get it done. That's why.
Yeah. I always love like these polls every year.
I'd say they hit the nail on the head probably with the Ja, Fox, and Maxey. I think that was pretty accurate.
You think Maxey's third behind those guys?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Eric, what do you think?
I think if you look at those guys' careers, I would say that he's probably third. I don't think he's third right now.
You think he's faster than Ja with the ball, don't you?
Right now,
yeah.
I think he is.
Yeah.
But if you looked at what Ja and Fox were doing at the same age, no, I don't think he is. But I do think he is right now.
And Ja had another injury. Did they even know about that yet? What happened to him? Or is he serious or not? And Ja had another injury to his ankle, didn't he? Just now?
No, yeah, he turned it like somebody threw the ball and then turned it. It was really weird. Yeah, but I don't think
really weird.
I don't think there's anything that's going to be,
I was going to say, man, that guy can't catch a break.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Off of what they've done at their fastest, he's third. But yeah, we'll have to see this year. Yeah. Do you agree with the fifth place is not that high, but it's kind of high. The level of success would be difficult to predict one.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm saying. It's a lot of contradictions. Like how are you voting us as 50% voting us the second best team in the East, and then our level of success is hard to predict. If you're 50% saying we're second best team in the East, you should at least be saying that we can make it to the conference finals. Like, I don't know what's making it so hard to predict.
Yeah.
Very true.
70% of GMs said we're either going to be second or third place. So
what's so hard about that?
Yeah. And you take second, third, or fourth place, we're at 87%. It's almost 90% of the GMs in the league.
So that's like to me, that's really off base. It's like, you look at our team and you look at our roster, assuming that just like we always do every year, assuming everyone stays healthy and everybody has their guys, you look and you're basically saying we're a top 4 team and top 5 team, and we can make it to basically what we've been doing the last few years is making it to the conference semifinals.
Yeah,
like, maybe they're trying to judge on whether they feel like we can win a championship or go to the finals. Is maybe what's hard to predict, but yeah. I don't know how you can say we're 50% say we're the second best team in the East, but then it's hard to predict our level of success.
Maybe the roster turnover, just like a lot of changes, the most changes in the NBA, because we probably
how can we be the second team in the East? Like, how can you vote?
Yeah.
These same GMs, I'm just saying, how can you vote us that way, but then say we're hard to predict? You already predicted.
Yeah.
What's so hard about that? Like, all of us can sit up here and we can sit up here on our show and we can't find any reasons to preseason rank the Sixers below 4 or 5. We can't think of any reason to do that.
How about this? 3% of GMs, because Boston is not 100% first on that list. 3% of GMs said Cleveland would be number 1. Obviously, I'm not sure what the rules are as far as if you could vote for your own team. That'd be hilarious. That's clearly the Cleveland GM. But yeah,
I don't know if teams can. Maybe I think certain things you can't vote in your team. I don't know. I don't know the rules.
But 3%. So people got, yeah.
But so what did Cleveland do the offseason?
Yeah, what did they do?
I guess they just think they're gonna grow together. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. So
new coach, right? Who's the new coach?
It's a new coach.
Is it Atkinson?
Yeah, I have no idea what they did, dude. I can't.
They didn't do anything.
They re-signed Okoro.
They got a new coach. That's it.
They re-signed Jared Allen.
They gave Mobley an extension.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my point. So how could you move them ahead of the Knicks and all and then the Knicks and Milwaukee and Boston? Like, how could you move them ahead of those teams?
Especially, Kenny Atkinson, you're right. Especially when one of the main issues that they talked about in the locker room there was Garland and Mitchell coexisting, and that hasn't changed.
Well,
so,
they clearly use Bickerstaff as a scapegoat. I mean, if that's what there was locker room issues, they get rid of the coach and they still keep the same guys there. So
but that was one of the problems they talked about last year. That one of them had to go. Well, it didn't happen. So I guess they just figure a new head coach and Jared Allen and I guess Atkinson, rejoining and coming together.
Jared Allen and Atkinson rejoining.
There's a lot of problems, I guess.
Oh man,
got his guy back. I'm an Atkinson fan.
I know you have been a big Atkinson guy.
I think he should have been a head coach ever since he left Brooklyn, but whatever. But yeah, that's an interesting one. I
have seen a lot of the experts, the NBA experts, predict that Orlando takes a big leap this year. I know they were at 4-5 last year, I forget, but that they were expecting them to kind of stay within that top 4 range this year. Everyone's
10% of votes have them at 3rd, 7% have them at 4th.
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, East top 5 should be really interesting to see how everything shakes out. But I mean, I think we do have a basis on who should be the top 4.
Top 4 voting. Miami didn't get any votes. How's that?
Interesting.
Yeah, I can believe that.
Indiana, Orlando, Milwaukee, Cleveland, Philly, New York.
With all those other teams and the way those younger teams play, I can see that.
Yeah,
I can see them not doing that.
And they have some question marks as far as the Jimmy Butler situation too. So I mean that's kind of, they have a murky situation there.
Yeah, I can see that.
All right. So a final topic here. Obviously, we mentioned in the beginning that tonight is the rated PG version of the 76ers. They will begin the PG era tonight in preseason in this debut against Minnesota. So preseason so short, and obviously, you can only take so much from preseason. But what do you guys expect to see from Paul George tonight, and how much stock will you put in his performance tonight?
Not much stock into it. I think the minutes won't be as high. I think he may play a quarter and a half. but probably look at the flow. If they're calling plays for him, and if they do, what plays are they calling? How often he has ISOs? Does he get pick and roll action, or is he more spot up guy? In transition, how is he playing? Does he get rebounds and bring the ball up the court? Kind of look at all those different things and see how he's kind of playing to kind of establish what their thinking process is as far as using him. So I'll look more at that more so than the minutes and the points.
That's great. Yeah, it's interesting because it's like Embiid's not going to play, so it's going to be pretty much the non-Embiid lineup we'll see this year, right? So that'll be interesting to see, like, how is the non-Embiid time going to go? Because whatever they envision for those non-Embiid, they're going to try. I mean, it's not a heavy like replication of the regular season, but there's not a lot of preseason games, so you kind of have to like try some things while you have all these guys on the court together. So it will be pretty interesting to see how they do some of those things with the combinations, who guards who, that whole who's for question, right?
Yeah.
I don't know who's playing and who's not playing on the Timberwolves. Are they full? I don't think is Randall healthy. I don't think Randall's healthy. I don't know.
I have no idea.
So it'll be interesting to see who lines up against who and who's going to guard who and what positions are going to play, at least for the non-Embiid, because Drummond's still going to man the 5. So in principle, the other 4 should be the same, right? So I'm curious to see that. I'm not going to put much stock into the actual performance itself.
Yeah, I don't see anything. This is from their preseason opener. Randall and Edwards didn't play in that game, so that was from the preseason opener the other day. So I don't know about this one tonight.
I hope he plays.
We'll see.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. Well, that does it for us. We hope everybody enjoyed the episode. We'll be back here next Friday as we preview the regular season, do some preview on the stats and win totals for the upcoming season. So hope you guys enjoy the episode. Hope you guys have a good weekend.
All right. Take it easy.
Take it easy, guys.